The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Healthcare professionals can lead their careers with LinkedIn. Discover jobs by specialty, preferred shifts, and even desired salary. From mental health therapists to radiology technicians, it's now faster and easier for healthcare professionals to find the right fit. Learn more at linkedin.com/healthcare. Side effects may include faster job placement, improved work-life balance, and increased career satisfaction.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Husband Coach's Corner, the podcast dedicated to teaching men how to love their wives every single day and becoming better men in the process. Now, the end of 2025 has finally arrived, and we've gone through 12 months of this year with ups and downs, the wins and the losses. And that's what I really wanted to jump on today's episode and kind of talk about, because if you're anything like me, sometimes the year just happens, but you don't really recap to identify what the heck happened over the year. Well, what my encouragement to you is today, and something that I really do hope that you take time out of your busy day to do, is identify the wins that you've had over the year. Identify the wins that you've had over the year. Focus on all of the things that were helpful either in your marriage or for you as an individual to grow. Maybe you read a book that inspired you to do something. Maybe you finally read or started that business that you wanted to start. Or you started that gym membership and you continued throughout the entire year, or from whenever you started. Maybe that was yesterday, and today you got day number 2 going to the gym. Whatever it is, big and small wins, write those down. Don't be like the average people, because average is never something that's going to help you. Anyone who's successful in life is not average, right? If you want to be successful, you have to be above average. You have to be exceptional. You have to be intense about wanting to be above average. And so that's why I'm encouraging you. Take the time, write down the wins that you've had throughout the year, catalog them, review it over the next couple weeks, review it, remind yourself that you are capable of achieving wins. And before anyone jumps off and thinks like, oh man, Chris just went like super passive, or, I don't know what the word is, but no. Instead, what I want you to think is, I'm capable of being successful when I put the work in. And that's the reason why I want you to count your wins. Because when you look back at all of the things that you've ever achieved, work was a part of it. You didn't just accidentally or magically achieve something. And if you did, I guarantee you there was still some work that happened. Maybe you didn't pay attention to the fact that there was work, but there was absolutely work that happened. And so you want to take the time to capture those moments. Now, after you've captured all of your wins, what I want you to do is, again, go and look at the work that got you to that win and find the consistencies in that work. If it's something where you just had to be consistent in order to achieve the outcome, well, consistency pays off. Or maybe it was, I had to go find a mentor, someone to coach me and guide me through it. Well, if you want to go far, you got to take people along with you. Because if you want to go fast, you go by yourself. But if you want to go far, take a friend. That's the saying. So maybe you identified that that was actually beneficial. Now, after you've identified whatever that thing is that helped you achieve your win, here's the big deal. I want you to take that same information into the year of 2026 and apply it immediately. I want you to start taking that information and saying, okay, if I want to win this year, who else do I need to find as a coach? Do I need a different coach that's going to take me to a different level? What books are going to help me mentally sharpen myself so that I can show up as the best version of who I am when I start doing these things that I want to accomplish? Now, obviously, that means I'm talking about establishing goals. Now, over this year, I've actually migrated from just setting goals. Instead, I set systems. I create systems that allow me to achieve my goals. And that's the reason why I'm able to go back and look at the work that I've put in whenever I've achieved something throughout the week, throughout the year, whenever I won, whatever it may be. And so I recommend you do the same thing, that you learn to establish a system around your goal. Don't just say, I want to go, or I want to be able to bench press 15. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. I want to be able to bench press 250 pounds. All right. Hit that 7-time, 8-time rep, whatever it is. Don't just say that. Instead, develop a system around that where you say, okay, I know that I want to be able to bench press 250 pounds. So what I'm going to do is develop a system that allows me to not only achieve that, but make sure that I'm going to get there. So that could be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to focus on executing chest exercises. On Tuesdays, at the beginning of my workout, I'm going to start with compound lifting. So that way I can get the heaviest max reps that I possibly can. And then after that, I'm going to go into more isometric and machine work. So that way I can really burn out and fatigue the muscle. And then I'm going to let it rest on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I'm going to go and do high rep, low intensity, because I just burned out the muscle on Tuesday. So Thursday is going to allow me to really just fine tune the muscle. And then I'm going to let it rest and then come back next week and do it again. And then I'm also going to track my progress every single day, or every day that I'm working that particular muscle group, and change up the exercises as I identify where I need to improve, right? These are systems, because each moving part in that system is going to help you get closer. So that was just me coming up with a scenario off the top of my head. Now, to the topic of marriage and why this works, right? Because the goal is to help you become a better man in the process. And part of that is just developing tools that, if you can see how they work outside of your marriage, you can bring tools into your marriage to help you build the better relationship that you're looking for, or to improve yourself in the relationship that you're in. When you know how to develop a system, you can do the same thing with your wife. As in, I want to invest more in my wife emotionally. Okay, well, how do I quantify how much I'm investing, or how much emotion do I want? Well, you can say things like, I want to invest every single Tuesday by spending 15 minutes praying for my wife with her in the room. Or I want to give her a foot rub or a back massage, or make her dinner, or take her on a walk, go on a drive, whatever it may be. set a date and a time, or a weekly event and then a time. And then you develop a system around that. So that could be something as simple as, if I know I want to take her for a car ride on Tuesday, I need to get off of work at a certain time. What happens on Tuesdays? Well, I need to be able to get XYZ done at work before I get to the house. So that way I know that I can make sure I can take her on this car ride. I need to make sure that the kids understand this. And so now the kids are doing something else. You develop these systems so that way you can achieve your goal. Because a goal that doesn't have a system around it is open and subject to the environment to influence it and keep it from happening. And so at the end of the year, this is one of the best times, because I mean, really any time. I'm not one of those people that starts with New Year's resolutions or anything like that. But there is some utility in knowing that we're about to go through a whole new cycle of the exact same days that happen throughout the year. And so having those as place markers, it's just helpful to review. That's the only reason why I'm saying it's time to review at the end of the year. But maybe you are one of those people who likes to generate or come up with New Year's resolutions. Then this should resonate pretty well with you overall. And that's kind of the goal and idea here. So again, what you want to do is first capture all of your wins. Second, look at the wins and figure out what work went into creating those wins. And then after you know what work went into creating those wins, I want you to take all of that information and develop new goals and new systems in order to achieve more in 2026. That's ultimately what this comes down to. And when you do that, you're going to improve yourself, which then makes you a better version for your wife and enhances your ability to lead in your marriage. So hopefully that was a blessing to you. If it was, interact with this podcast however the platform that you're listening to it on allows. Until next time, I want you to find a way to love your wife every single day. Peace.